Well, happy Tuesday. I hope it's a great day for you. It's almost like autumn has come. Oh, it has. Seemed like it just might be the beginning of autumn. Goodbye, summer. Hello, fall. Huh. Good time of the year. I hope it's a good one for you. I hope it's a great day for you. And let me say again, I'm glad you took time to join me on this little video for a few moments. Try to share with you something that is on my mind, and that's why I say, come on into my little world for a moment. So I'm glad you're here. You know, sometimes we think only the big things are important, when it may be that the smallest of things are the only way the big things ever become possible. Passing by one of those signs the other day that noted the size of the present lottery. Not an advocate of the lottery by any means. Never bought a lottery ticket. Man, what I've missed out on. In all seriousness, passing by and you see those numbers and the millions and millions of dollars there, and I think I happened to hear on the news this morning how large it was and all closing in on $1 billion or something. Anyway, huge numbers of money. And people rushing down to buy their tickets because they want those huge numbers of money. And I remember one of those fellows that has a lot to do with setup of the lottery says, I don't know why people wait till the last minute, till it only gets up huge to ever buy their tickets, which of course that adds to it. But it said, they only want to win that $300 or $400 million. But wouldn't just $1 million change your lives? Doesn't seem small to me. Anyway, just thinking about that, and sometimes how we relate to things that seem a little bit smaller. And yet, we can become so detailed on the little things, we might miss the important things. It's kind of a mixed bag, isn't it? So let me offer you a little bit of encouragement today. I was doing a little research and checking out what are some of the small things in life. I don't know. Depends on who you are. Well, what are some of the small things that we could do that would make an appreciable difference in our lives? And that gets more to the point for me. Okay. I came across a small list, and there are quite a few of them. You can look on the internet and find a jillion of them out there. I don't know how many a jillion is, but you can find a jillion of them out there. But I came across one that's 7 changes that make a big difference. Actually, I think the lady that wrote these down is a fairly young woman, but still, we'll take them, see what we can do with them, and think about it a minute. Here are her 7 that she listed for us. Number 1 is get active. Well, sure, can make a difference in your health and your life in a good way. Number 2, spend more time in nature. Get outside, get a little sunshine, a little fresh air. Quit hiding away inside your houses. Number 3, do your work at your desk. In other words, it's time to do your work while you're at work. And then when you get away from work, let the work stand and wait. You know, don't work all the time in every place. Separate in a way. I guess that's what she's getting at. Do your work at your desk. Number 4, clean that up right away. Procrastinators unite. Let's put it off until we absolutely have to. No, do it right away. Wash that dish right now. Make that bed right now. Wash those clothes. Pick up that mess right now. You know, then you don't have to do it later. Anyway, it's a good attitude to have. Good thing to put into your life. Number 5, practice gratitude. The words are simple. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you kindly. Practice gratitude for even the smallest things, the smallest pleasures. You know, I think we ought to begin and end each day with the simple words, thank you, Lord. Thank you. A night's rest, a new day, a full day. A lot of things. You can make a big list, can't you? But practice gratitude. If we start thinking about the things we're thankful for, we lose sight in a great way of the things that might be, we might not consider blessings in our lives. We quit being so gripey and we start being more thankful. Pretty good attitude. Number 6, get an early start. You know, when you get to my age, getting an early start's not that much of a problem. Seems like long before the alarm goes off, there's something inside the head starts saying it's time to be awake now, even if you don't want to be. And I've often noted that through the years, the hardest part of beginning your day is just getting out of bed. Once you're out, once you're going, it's not that bad. You know, my dog and I, as some of the folks here know very well, my dog and I take a walk in the early morning hours most days. The hardest part is just getting out from under the covers and getting up and putting on my shoes. Once you get going, you feel pretty good about it. But anyway, get an early start, and then you don't feel like you're under pressure later down the way. But get an early start on things. And then number 7, maybe the biggest one on this list, but still pretty small when you think about it, a small change. Just be kind. Just be kind. Say kind things. Do kind things for people. Small things. Doesn't have to be the great and large thing. Just be kind. So that was her list and all, and she could have explained them far better in that regard in her blog that she puts out and all. But you can find lists like that all over the place. And you realize little things are pretty important. But at the same time, there needs to be a bigger picture in our lives. A bigger picture of things that may have greater and more lasting value. I was thinking about something that Jesus says in Matthew 23, when he gets down to the 23rd verse, and he talks about some of the very religious leaders of his time and how they obsessed on the smallest of things and the details of these things. But he says, you missed some things along the way. Listen to this. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! You pay the tithe of mint, tiniest amount, and anise and cumin, tiniest spices, and have neglected the weightier matters of the law. In other words, they were very meticulous about exactly how much they would give a tithe of this spice or that spice and so forth. But he said, you missed the weightier matters of the law. What were they? Justice and mercy and faith. Maybe we need to imprint those somewhere on our hand or a piece of paper, pull it out every now and then, and think about justice, mercy, and faith. And then he adds something that ought to ring in our ears a little bit. These you ought to have done without leaving the others undone. In other words, the tiny things, those are important. Those little minuscule changes, those little things you need to take care of and take care of during the day and take care, make sure you're doing those. But don't lose sight of these bigger things as well, the weightier things. When you blend them all together, that's when you begin to recognize dramatic change in your life. Every now and then I think it's good for us, and when I say every now and then, frequently, I think we need to look at our lives and examine where we've been, what we've done. What have we accomplished? Where have we gone? I don't think it needs to be just annually on New Year's Eve, say, okay, and I'm going to make some resolutions for the new year. Maybe it's at the end of the week or even just at the end of the day. What have I done today? And how can I do better tomorrow? It's not that there's a dissatisfaction of the things that we've done in our lives, but we begin to look and say, is there something I can improve? Is there something I can do better? It's not a dissatisfaction. In fact, it's an appreciation of where we've been and what we've done. I think it's good to look at the jobs you've done and say, I've done well. And then as you go along and say, could I have done that better? Could I have done it sooner? That's when we start making those little bitty changes. We make the list, and those things can make a dramatic difference in our lives. I should have washed that dish earlier. Okay. Well, not before you eat off of it. But seriously, the little things that really don't take that much, and maybe that's why we tend to ignore them. Take care of them. But all the time, keeping those weightier matters in place. Then you find your life really does have the improvement you really wanted to have. It really does have the difference you want to see in your life. You think about it. Are there things you need to change and want to change in your life? Get the big picture in place. And then find those little things along the way as well, and don't lose sight of the bigger picture as you go. Sometimes we decide we want to make a change in our health, lose some weight, improve our condition in some way or another. And we get lost in it pretty quick because we think about the big picture. We'll start with the little ones. Keep the big picture in mind. Start with each little meal. Start with each day. Start with each exercise. Gradually you'll find the changes that you really want to find in your life. You want to be a better person? Start a little bit with the character of Christ and find those things that he talks about here of justice, mercy, and faith. Let them grow in your life as well. Anyway, it's something to think about, and I think if you look around you, you'll find the people that you admire the most have done that very thing. Hey, it's a great Tuesday. I hope it's one that's a blessing in your life, and you can be an encouragement to others as well. And just think what those steps would do for you and the people that see you around you. Hey, think about it today. And I'm glad you came into my little world. I'm glad you share a few thoughts with me. These are the kind of things that work on in my little brain as I go along from day to day and try to make those improvements in me. So let's work on it together a little bit. Glad you were with me today. I hope we can share some more things a little further down the road, and we'll just count on that if we can.